It's your boy, Coach Defense here. Thanking you for supporting the channel. Become a Lockdown Defender by hitting that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you're enjoying your time, hit that like button. Help us grow in the community. Now, check out our latest video. Leave a comment. And as always, you got to step up to lock it down. So let's do a segment called What About That Benching? So going out to, taking a trip out to Carolina, then we'll stop off in Indy. Let's talk about two rookies for the 2023 draft class. And the news for who have been in the news for reasons other than playing solid football in 2024 up to this point. So Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson both were benched early in the season for their backups. Their head coaches Dave Canales and Shane Steichen both saw something that was not going right with the both quarterbacks, right? So both of them, were sat for the backups of Andy Dalton and Joe Flacco. Dalton due to injury and Flacco due to old age were not much better for the team overall. So the coaches decided to go back to the second-year quarterbacks since they're benching. I'll have to say, even though they're not wowing the stat sheet, I said they've been playing much better since the benching. So looking at their production over the last several games, I lend to my esteemed panel, does this benching, I guess you can say, be a thing of the signs to come? Was it good for the team and good for the players? And has it improved their I guess you can say, standings in the NFL since they've been benched?
Alex, you got it.
All right, yeah. See how many points I can get out. I'm just kidding. No, honestly, I think that the benching proofs in the pudding that it was good for both of them, and I think the ultimate reason that type of move needed to be made was so that this is my opinion, so that those two could realize, oh, I'm not the reason this team's bad. I think it was a kind of a reverse confidence thing for them, where they both, at times before the benching tried to do too much. And I think both had this, I imagine a tremendous amount of pressure to perform and win games for their team. And, that doesn't happen. And the more that doesn't happen, it snowballs into, we're trying to do even more. And then next thing you know, you're regressing in how you looked before you got in there. And then I think with this benching, not both, Joe Flacco didn't come out there and light it up. Neither did Andy Dalton. And I think both, were able to take a step back and realize, like, there's a reason I was drafted in the first round, and I'm not the sole reason that this team's bad. So right. I'm just going to go out here and play my game. Because honestly, both of them have looked, I got to see Bryce Young a little more close and personal in the Chiefs game than I have Richardson, but they've both looked way more comfortable in just the flow of the game and how they're reading and throwing the ball than they were prior to the benching. And I think that's the big reason why, is it was a reverse confidence play, just to let them realize, like,
but would you use the word humbling? Would you use the word humbling?
Yeah, humbling. Yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, I guess humbling, or just I guess like a more just realization of, okay, like, I'm not the sole reason that this team's awful, right, and losing games.
Yeah, and I would expound on your analogy and say that maybe it was just one of those things we just had to get out of the foxhole. When you're in the foxhole and you're taking bullets, right? It's hard to see why you're taking bullets and what's the problem and reason why we're losing this battle. From a foxhole point of view. But if you look at it from a 30,000-foot view, and you can kind of see everything that's playing out, you kind of get the idea of the holistic picture, and that may open up or unlock the idea of how you can play better or be better, kind of thing. So that really might have played a part in it. I definitely like that take, because it's got to be a reason. When you look at the stat lines, since they've been benched, it's been much better. From Bryce Young's perspective, hadn't a whole lot of wins, but he's gotten two. He's got two against the Giants and the Saints. And he's been getting progressively better. And he hadn't thrown a pick in the last 3 games. He threw for 298 against the Buccaneers, 263 against the Chiefs. He 126, 117, and 224 against a good, Denver Broncos defense. So he's definitely been, on the upswing, since he's been benched. So, got to give him credit for that. And then looking at Richardson, He's been a dual threat, and in a lot of facets. You had one game he had 14 carries, and the other two had 10, 1 9 and 1 6. But rushing touchdowns, you got 3 of those. We got 4 touchdowns. He's only thrown 3 picks. He had 3 games without a pick. And so again, you've seen progressive improvement. So maybe this is one of those things where if you can't afford to bench the guy right away, you can maybe at some point sit him down once he get a few snaps and realize that hey, he needs to slow down, settle down, and get to the point where he can really see it, and kind of figure out exactly what he's doing wrong and get better. Maybe that's what the formula is. If you draft these guys this high, because you're looking at a number 1 overall pick and a 4th overall pick, so it's a lot of pressure to play early. But in some cases, it's better to sit them. But just whether or not you can is going to be the question.
Yeah.
Kurt, what you got?
Just when looking at this again, like Alex said, hey, it wasn't us. And I think it highlighted the dysfunction that both of these teams had and the miscue in thinking, oh, it's the quarterbacks. When Joe Flacco came in, the offense didn't look any better.
Nope, look worse.
Andy Dalton, was in. And I remember us talking offline, and I think that first game, Andy Dalton, I don't know if he won it, but I know his stats were looking pretty well. And you was just kind of like, hold fast.
Yes.
Let's see. Right. And come to find out, same thing.
Very next
week.
It
was very next week. And it was some things that Canales said that had me head scratching. But to both of these young men's credit, they didn't let the situation shake their confidence.
I like that about them. Yes.
Right. They didn't come back in and poop the bed. They came back in and was like, okay, you made the mistake and we're going to show you with our play how dumb you looked by doing it. And I think it helped them. I think it did. Like Alex said, they take a step back. They get to regroup. They get to see things from the other side. And I believe in some ways, I'm always cautious to say it made them value what they had because they was able to see what they had lost. But I think it did benefit them to take that step back, just breathe, just see the game from the sideline, right? See the game from holding the clipboard and then stepping back into it. And so it was like a refresher, right? Like, oh, okay, this is what's going on out there. This is what it looks like when that person's out there, and this is what the defense is doing. So it was some education that has benefited them. Like you said, some of it hasn't been wins. For Anthony Richardson, it's been more wins than for Bryce. But for both of them, they've looked totally different, right? People forget with Anthony Richardson, he is younger than Shedeur Sanders and who's in college right now. Anthony Richardson is still young. We forget that Anthony Richardson has not played a lot of football.
At a quarterback, no, he has not.
He's technically a senior in college right now.
Right.
Bryce Young.
With only, less than 20 starts at this point. He had 11 in college.
Yeah.
He had 4 last year. So and he's gotten 7 this year. So
because he's been injured.
He's about 20 games in between the NFL and college is playing quarterback. So,
you know what I'm saying? Even though he's signed, the young man had one great year. From physical,
right? He
looked amazing, got drafted, but he's from football. He hasn't played a lot of football at that level.
He's still a pup. Yeah, I agree with you.
He's still a pup. And Bryce Young Bryce Young has been doubted and still came out to be a winner. And I think he benefits from having 2 parents that have really poured in and cemented him and created this Loctite confidence in himself, right? And he's just steady. He's been a winner at every, he's been doubted in high school, top prospect, went to Alabama, doubted, won the Heisman, right? Just a matter of time for him to get it.
Okay. Yeah, and this could be the new brand. I mean, I think that, tell me how you guys feel about this particular take. That, you know, leadership, ownership, higher ups, GMs, owners put pressure on coaches, especially Dave Canales' situation, I believe, because you invested so much so early in a top prospect in a draft. Especially you have to trade up, is give up draft capital and things of that nature, give up your future for the now. They look at it from a perspective that we need this person to play right away. And it just may be a situation where they're not ready.
Yes.
Just really not ready. I'm kind of pseudo proving a point to you that it's best that I bench him, give him time to get acclimated to the game. Then I can put him back out there, and then we get a better product.
Yes.
So it's kind of appeasing the owner or proving to the owner that I'm right in the sense that he needs to sit and wait. Let's bring a bridge quarterback in, let him play while he learns, and then when I'm ready to throw him out there, let's say Drake May. Drake May's looking much better than he would have if he probably would have started week 1. So I think that it's an undefined time frame that you have to have with quarterbacks to say that I need a certain level of time. I don't know what the timeline is. I might need 6 games. I might need 8. I might need a first full season. But one way or the other, it'll be better for us in the long run for him to play good quarterback for us for 15 years. If you sit him right away, let him learn and get out on the field when he's ready. So it might be just one of the new wave things they're doing for, to appease the masses, to say we throwed him out there, he wasn't ready, put him back on the bench. As he comes back in, he'll be better. So
yeah,
we'll see but I'm happy for both. And I think that, if they're in the right track, and if they start to do the right things personnel wise in Carolina, I think Bryce will be in a good spot and build his confidence. And I think if Steichen can get out of Richardson what he got out of Jalen Hurts, and when he's the Philly, I think that they will be in good shape too. It's just a matter of getting those particular aspects done, because you got personnel problems in Carolina that you got to fix, and you just got reps you got to get out of Richardson. And I think they might be in better. It might be, on to something about having a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's see how things shake out. But I'm hoping that they, end the season on a high note, for all intents and purposes, and build on the future.
Right.
Clearly Carolina's not going anywhere this year, but Indy got an outside chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see how things go after that.